Welcome back to Hidden Oaks Homestead. It's a beautiful morning out here on the farm, in the garden, and I wanted to take some time to talk to you about why I love garden time so much. There's a lot of different benefits to being outside in the garden and doing what we do out here to call us gardeners, whether that's planting flowers, planting food, planting vegetables, digging in the dirt, harvesting food, harvesting flowers, and all those beautiful things that have a great effect on us as human beings. I took a day off last week just for me. I dropped the kids at school, Chip was at work, and I decided I'm going to have a me day. No work for the day job, just tinkering around the house and in the garden. And it's amazing what a difference I saw in myself in just that one day, being able to get caught up on a lot of things that always are in the back of my head and not being able to address. Baking bread, preserving food, tinkering around in the garden. It made a huge difference for me in just that one day. My wish for myself is to be able to step back more, to be able to spend more time in the garden, to be able to spend more time doing what I love with baking and cooking and preserving and making soaps and tinctures, going to farmers markets and building on top of the community that we've built here locally, teaching other people on how to be more self-sufficient and how much you can actually do at home, make for yourself without having to rely on any outside sources. The terminology around mental health has so many negative association, when really all it means is you're well, you're happy with who you are, where you are, and what you have. And to be in that kind of mental state, really all you need to do every now and then is take a step back, take a break, take a breath, take some time and take care of yourself. Sometimes it's hard to take care of yourself and take out that time because everybody else needs you, everything else is calling out for you and needs you to be there and be present. But sometimes you just need to take a step back, take a day, take a week, take a month, and just take care of yourself. When we moved back from the Middle East to the United States, we knew with the choices that we were making for our family of where we wanted to live and what we wanted to build, that we will likely cut ourselves off a little bit from the rest of the population by the simple fact of where we were going to live and what we wanted to do with our lives. We don't regret the decisions that we've made. We don't regret where we are and what we've been able to build so far. Our life has changed quite a bit over the last couple of years, and where previously we'd be out for dinners or pool parties or backyard barbecues, and that just doesn't happen as much now that we live out in the middle of nowhere. We have a farm to run, we have our day-to-day lives, we have the kids to run around, so it does not leave a lot of time for that old socialization that we used to have before we chose the homesteading life. There are a lot of different reasons on why gardening has such a different effect and such a great effect on us as human beings. Gardening for me is a lot more than just planting and harvesting food and trying to make this a beautiful place for me and the family. It's very therapeutic to me, and I don't know what your reasons are for gardening. I have a few different reasons on why I grow a garden and why I enjoy my time out here so much. Number one, growing food for my family and for my animals. I love to experiment with different crops, see what does well here in our growing zone 8B in Northwest Florida, in the Panhandle is where we are at. And I love to grow as much as possible of our own food. I like to preserve it, I like to dry it, I like to stock up my pantries to know that I have plenty of food for my family. I have backups for when I don't have time to run to the grocery store or I can't afford to go to the store. I have full stores here at my house, at the pantry, from the food that we grew and that we raised. Number two, I like to grow herbs, kitchen herbs, medicinal herbs. I go foraging in the forest as well for wild medicinals and edibles, but I love growing herbs here in the garden. This year I've made an effort to build additional beds where I can grow more medicinals and more herbs for the kitchen garden, and I love how it's turned out. It looks absolutely beautiful. The butterflies, the bees, they all love it. It smells fantastic. And the herb garden was really one of my big projects this year to try to improve my garden space. Three, and that's a big point for me to being out in the garden, is mental health. I work a full-time job. I'm a mom. I run a family. We run a farm. We do the garden. We're trying to build our farm business on top of all of that. So we're always busy, always going somewhere, always going places, always building something new. So there's very little time for just myself and taking a step back in and taking care of myself. I don't know about you, but moms tend to do this anyway and take care of everything and everybody else first before we look at us. I've had some tough weeks between work and running the farm and trying to get things done and really stressing myself out. Every time I come out into the garden, it just calms me. It's amazing on how much it changes your day if you just step back, step outside, sit in the garden, do something in your garden, on how that affects you and how much difference it makes for me personally. Check this out. Coming out here and tinkering around in the garden with planting flowers, planting herbs, planting vegetables, pruning, cleaning up, weeding, digging holes for trees, cleaning up whatever the animals messed with overnight, putting up protection for the garden, for the plants, checking the status, seeing how everything is growing, harvesting, and then going and making something out of that harvest is amazing to me. There are many reasons on why to garden and why it's such a great way to take care of yourself, your family, and your mental well-being. For me, it's about growing food, it's about preserving food, it's about the beauty, and it's about the way I feel when I am outside in the garden.